Hello, and welcome to Shepack Unleashed. I'm one of your hosts, Tania.
I'm Nichole. Welcome to your weekly dose of candid discussion and the pursuit of finding your tribe in this journey of motherhood, womanhood, and sisterhood.
I'm Ashley. Join us as we leave no stone unturned. In each episode, we have heart-to-heart conversations that aim to challenge and empower one another.
I'm Jenny. No more waiting. Shepack Unleashed begins now. In this episode, the introvert and extrovert duo, finding balance in parenting and friendship and relationships. So I think generally most people know what an introvert or an extrovert is, and certainly not everyone's exactly a perfect fit on the binary, but introversion in general tends to be characterized by those who are more reserved. They maybe want to be more private or quiet. They might prefer like a low stimulus environment or one-on-one or small group interactions, generally energized by being alone. Doesn't mean they can't go out and enjoy a social, but like get energy from being alone. And an extrovert on the flip side would be one who perhaps is naturally a bit more sociable. They like novelty and excitement, maybe enjoy being the center of attention, not necessarily though, but I think bottom line tend to get their energy through interacting with others. And if they were alone too long, like lose the energy or feel restless or sad. It's very general, but tends to be kind of how it's.
Those are the binaries.
Yeah. People don't always exist in a perfect binary. But I think in this group, we have a good mix or an interesting mix.
Mm-hmm.
Tania, what do you think you are?
I feel like I am an extroverted introvert.
What does that mean?
So I am capable of being out and about, of being in crowds, of being at parties and interacting and engaging with different people, doing the new experiences, things like that. But then I need to like go back somewhere quiet and recharge and like have some quiet time as well, and to refocus, recenter, whatever that may be.
I think only you knows. Like, you and how you need to recharge, but that would not be my impression of you.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
At least in how you interact with me, maybe because we are close. Like, I would expect you to be maybe an introverted extrovert, like the opposite.
Well, what's the difference?
You're very chat, like and I don't mean this in a mean way, but like you talk a lot. You don't struggle.
Very chatty.
You don't struggle with like small talk even. It's not only like intense conversation. Like you can work a room.
Okay.
I think you do like being out and talking with people, and you thrive on it, I think, in a lot of the work that you do. So my perception is different. I don't know.
I mean, I would echo all of that. Yeah. Where I recognize the need that you have to be turn inward and have some quiet and like reset and get lost in like yourself for a moment. But I think that's the introverted extrovert part where like you still need that, but you seem to so naturally do the extroverted thing where it doesn't appear to be like a heavy lift for you to do that. It seems to come very natural and comfortably.
Maybe.
It's okay.
You guys like redefining?
Redefining who you are.
But you also could show up different in friendship versus how you show up in like romantic relationships.
Or as a parent.
Right. So this could be just our perception.
It's so funny because I never thought about this in terms of like, there's not a difference, I don't think, in terms of like how I am with my partner versus out in the world, right? Like he and I will very much have lots of experiences out. We'll go to concerts and we'll go to breweries and we'll go to parties with friends.
That sounds extroverted.
And then we will have plenty of time at home on the couch watching TV, not talking to each other.
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess there's a balance there. In my brain, this dynamic plays out more in terms of how I engage with the larger world around me.
I think it's about how you recharge, how you get energy. Like that determines whether you're an extrovert or introvert. Like how do you like get energy in life?
And I've gone to parties with you. And then we're driving home and she is so pumped. It was like she had such a good time.
Yeah.
She is talking the whole way. Like from that, I think that you probably like get charged on, you feel energized by that, like those events. So again, you get to define you, but and in those car rides, I'm like, I'm glad she can do that. I'm so
Like,
done.
I
Like,
still-
You can also tell me to shut up.
No,
if
I
you
don't
need a
know.
moment.
I
No,
appreciate
great.
extrovert friends who adopt me because I don't
Okay.
do small talk well, and I
Do you
don't
like the silence filled, or would you rather be like, please stop talking? I need
I like the
quiet.
silence filled. I like to know that
Okay.
I don't have to. I'm going to go talk to this person because she can carry the conversation, and I don't have to work so hard.
But I mean, like when it's us in the car on the way home. Sorry, we haven't even gotten to what you guys consider yourselves.
But that's
Dove
exactly
right
what
in.
I'm thinking of. Like Friday night when we were coming home, like Jenny and I were pretty quiet and kind of like.
Well, you did get me talking about something I was fired up about.
Wait, I wasn't in the car. Now I want to know.
I don't even remember what we were talking about, but I remember feeling very drained at that point, and you appeared drained too, and both of us were like
not a bad
on
thing.
and off
No, it's
our
just your
phones.
I was talking the
But-
entire way home.
but
not
I
in
think
a
that's
bad
a
way.
good thing.
I think
'cause-
you were just excited. It was a great night, and my perception is you got energy from being out, and you were
Right.
like powered up.
And like Jenny, I appreciate that about you because it kind of keeps me going a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Like I'm still savoring whatever the good thing was, and you're like bringing that out. But I also never feel pressure to.
Okay.
It's never like you're trying to like suck something out of it.
That's
It's like, say
important
more,
to
say
me.
more. Yeah,
That's very important to me.
it's
because
never
if
like
there's ever
that.
a moment where you're like, please stop talking.
Oh, I would
need
tell
to
you.
recharge.
Yeah, I'll tell
then
you.
You just tell
Yeah.
me to my face.
And I think that's
Okay.
a big part of knowing, right? It's taking what we know and then helps us navigate like our friendship dynamics. Because
Mhm.
Ashley, you say you're an introvert. Is that right?
I identify as an extroverted introvert.
Cannot keep these straight. Tell us more.
I definitely recharge by myself. I definitely like shut down, alone, like quiet, low key, not doing stuff. But then there are times where I want to be out and I want to be doing things and interacting. Like the absence of that would be
Mhm.
very unfulfilling and empty for me in my
Mhm.
entire life. But I only have spoons for so much in certain doses. And like if I know there's a lot.
And I can see you when you hit the wall.
I just like glaze over and I'm just like, I'm in another world. So yeah, like I also know because I tend to lean introverted when I'm doing something like what we're doing on Friday, I have to hype myself up a lot. I got to really get a good night's
Steve's
sleep
like
and
that,
rest.
too.
And like I
Same.
can do it. I can turn it on if I need to, but it is exhausting. Like performing at work is exhausting because it's a different side of me that it doesn't come as natural.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. Yeah, I can definitely identify with the idea of having to like save up like reserves, right?
Mhm.
Like this weekend in particular was really busy. Like we had a big thing on Friday, and then there was a concert that we had tickets to go to last night, and then we were doing podcasting things today, and I was like, ooh, one of these things has to give. I can't do 3 nights in a row, like that, just 3 days in a row, basically. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to bow out a Saturday, and then realized it was just for the better for many reasons. But I would be very bored if I like just stayed home and didn't go out anywhere and didn't engage and interact with people. So maybe you guys are right. I'm an introverted extrovert then.
Introvert, extrovert.
Nichole, you
I'm an
Nichole,
extrovert,
hardcore.
extrovert. I don't know.
Extroverted, extrovert.
extrovert. Like extrovert. When we don't have plans and I have nothing going on, I literally rot.
Mhm.
Like I lay there in my bed and I can't get up and do anything. Like I'm like depressed when we don't have stacks of plans. Like I don't know. I don't get energy from that. I'm just like, oh, I guess they're not doing anything.
and that's
You feel depleted by not having
Yes.
the things to engage with.
Yeah. And I rot those days. When we don't have anything, I literally rot.
See, I'm so happy to have like a day to rot.
No, I hate
But
it.
then it can't be days and days and days.
And then I don't sleep well that night. And then I'm just stressed about it. Like it makes me like, well, what am I doing with my life? Like if I did tomorrow, I did nothing the next day. Like I did nothing the day before. Like I'm done. So I like to be an extrovert, obviously. I get energy from all the things, but I'm married to an introvert.
I was about to say, like, you don't
Hardcore
really have to
introvert.
navigate friendships, but partnerships. And I think Steve and I are very similar.
Yeah. I am married to an introvert, which can be hard for us in our dynamic. I have found ways in terms of like I have friends or I have other activities. Like you said, too many activities this weekend. I was like thinking to myself, like I had so many. It was so fun. I like it's gonna be a great weekend. We did the thing Friday, but that did not involve my husband. So like he was not a part of that. Even yesterday, I went to a med spa opening that was out without my husband. It was families involved, but like he's like, I'm doing the podcast Sunday
In his own
It's a
home.
one engagement
Yeah,
a weekend
in
thing.
his own home and was like, we're not doing that. Like, I'm not going
He had
there.
to save all his reserves.
He had to save all of his reserves. And he does. And I think about it in terms of like, even when he has a presentation the next day at work, he like goes to bed early that night.
Yeah.
He is like very much like,
I am going to bed early tonight because I have to interview a VP tomorrow.
Yeah. And he's like, I can't, he's very much like, we are going to bed early, turns all the lights off. And it's like, we're going, I'm like, what do you mean? Like, just because you have like an activity
Powering
tomorrow,
You're finally going to have time to read in peace.
oh my God, I know.
Sounds so much like Beto. He comes home from work at like 10, 11, 12, like pumped. And he's like, I had the best night. I taught the best. He just talks so much. And he's like dancing in the bathroom when he's brushing his teeth. I'm like,
he's so energized by it.
Yeah. And when I go out, I like want to come home and tell him all the things about everything. And he's like, huh? And I like literally, I have to be home by 11. Otherwise, he won't talk to me after
Turns into a
11.
pumpkin.
He won't talk to me. So like if I walk in the door at like 10:59, like I'm like, oh, I'm here. I made it. You have to now talk to me about all the things I want to talk about. And
For
like
57 seconds.
no, but like, no, it's not. He'll go the whole time. But
the
it's
start
like,
time has to be.
it's just like a,
Okay. Well,
that's
the latest start.
respectful of a boundary he has set.
yeah, it's a hard stop on that. But I very much like, I think about it even with like, I like to host things and have people over and I invite everybody. And I know my introverted friends do not like to come to my parties because
I still come.
there's too many people here.
I come early and then
Leave
this
early.
is fun. Thank you.
Yeah, because there's too many people. Like thinking about my 5-year-old's birthday party.
Yeah, if I came in the middle of that instead of at the beginning, I would have seen all the cars and had like a panic attack before coming in.
Same.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have been able to do that.
Yeah. So I definitely identify as an introvert. I think that surprises
No one.
people sometimes in my work
Really?
in particular.
Oh.
Yeah, especially in my previous job. But I found like working from home actually helped me because I could store more energy so that when I was on those work trips or I was, at a conference, like it was stored up and I could do it. But it's incredibly draining for me. Like I love my people and I love my people hard. And it takes me a long time to like warm up to people. But once I'm there, I feel like I can do it. But like small talk or getting to know new people, like one, it's anxiety, but two, it's energy. Like I would much rather talk to someone about like end of life plans randomly because it's like meaningful and deep than like the weather. Like I just can't.
Yeah.
It's hard for my brain to like engage.
And I think a common misperception for you have lots of contacts and lots of friends and lots of various friend groups. And so it's easy to look at that and say, you must be extroverted, right? To like have all these friends and people that you know. But you like to connect people. You like to collect friendships and network and all of those pieces. But you approach it from a very introspective kind of way, right? And so I think that that's easy to like misinterpret.
Yeah. And I think you have to just keep that in mind to like understand each other's needs in friendship as we communicate or party plan, etc. And I think it changed for me a lot when I was a parent. Like I think before I became a mom, I don't know how I would have answered. Like I was definitely more extroverted. I think upon reflection, I was like doing that for others, like almost performative, but it wasn't serving me. Like I would be whatever that person needed me to be for a long time as a young adult. And it wasn't until I became a mom where my kids needed so much of me and there was so little margin that I realized, oh no, I really need my alone time to like exist and be happy.
I
made
feel
it
that
really
made
clear.
me know that I needed to go out more, like because I needed to recharge with like people out, not little humans that were like sucking the life out of me, that didn't talk back to me, that like didn't do anything. I was like,
I feel like they're so loud. My dream is that like everyone is asleep or just out of the house, but I know they're safe. And I'm just like eating snacks and drinking wine and reading a book and it's quiet.
That's a good dream.
I think it's interesting because I grew up in a house of 4 kids. So like I grew up in a very, and like we are all
Loud.
I'm not a quiet talker. Nobody's ever accused me of being a quiet talker. I like pretty sure I get banished to the corner offices. Like
You
away
got
from
shushed
everybody.
on the plane.
I get shushed everywhere I go. Like my microphone has come down 20 notches.
compared to everybody else.
Like nobody's ever confirmed. Like, and that's how all of my siblings are too. Like we're all, when you're in a family of 4 competing for
attention.
Like you're it's just a volume you're at. And so like even when my kids are loud, like I don't even hear them. Like it's
what
like,
a superpower.
I was literally thinking the same words. Like I have to sometimes I've gotten the
earplugs
because I'm very sensitive to sound, and I found myself being irritable or like correcting them too much when it was inappropriate. Like they were just playing and being loud.
Yeah, just being
just
kids.
you were triggered by the noise.
I get very I'm
more so than your kids. It was
noise.
the noise.
Yep.
Yeah, the noise doesn't bother me. It's them near me.
Like that doesn't bother me as much.
Yeah, when it's like when they're too close to me, that's like my trigger. But
That's
like
both for me.
But the loudness, like I literally don't even hear it. I like can tune it out. Like I think we had the kids over for a play date or whatever, and you were like listening. You're like, oh, I think Ryan's yelling. And I was like, oh, he is.
Oh yeah,
Somebody's yelling at somebody.
Do you
like,
hear them right now?
Nicole's like, I don't see blood, so
yeah. I mean, can I hear them if I'm listening for them? Yes.
Oh no, I mean like in general, is it a sound that is coming into your brain right now that you're like filtering out?
No, like
because it is for me.
It is for me. I'm actively filtering what I'm hearing.
Oh, interesting. Nope, they're not existent. They're not.
I hear all of it.
Yeah.
Oh no. Yeah.
Right, so at the gym, right, we are having these conversations with members and gathering all their information. And it's not just like small talk conversation, right? Like I'm really trying to have to focus on them, to learn about them, to learn what they need from the gym and their experience. And not only like remember those things, but then to document them like 10 to 15 minutes later. And so my brain was having to try and retain all of that. All the while, there's club music just bumping, right? The entire time that you're in the gym for hours. And it just became very obvious that my brain could not like function in that environment, right? To the best of my ability. And so I would start to do little things, right? Where I tried to do some of the loop earplugs. But it was not great for me because then when I would talk, my voice was like amplified in my head. And then like if I was on the phone, I couldn't hear anything on the phone. I couldn't filter out all that background noise, right? And so I would start like putting my Bluetooth earbuds in so that I could hear the phone call. Like I connected to the burn phone. And then it also like drowned out some of the music. And I became much more productive once I started doing that. So it was a very interesting, very tangible example of how like filtering out the background and the noise helped me a little bit, but still like I would come home from the shifts just like I'm done for the day, absolutely done. And it felt silly in my brain, right, that a 3-hour shift could really wipe me out that significantly. But I think that's like the introverted side of me that was like too much stimulus.
Yeah,
and I think maybe that goes beyond the introvert extrovert to more sensory
I think that's your spiciness.
input. That's my spicy showing through.
Spicy showing through.
I think you're an extrovert with like sensory needs.
Overload. I definitely get the overload. I'll hit a wall at a certain point in a party sometimes where I'm like staring at the wall and I'm like, and it's time to go. It's time to go home, right? But you are right. Like after a fun night out, like I do get more energized by it, I guess.
I can't do small talk though. Like you guys say, like I go straight to my life story.
I overshare.
Same. There's no small talk.
Like trauma dump?
Like it's like literally like just like you talk to me at a networking event or something, you know about.
You're going to know about my childhood.
You're going to know everything about me.
But it's
I think I'm far more private.
Right. But it's interesting. You go to like trauma dumping and that kind of like oversharing, because that's where my mind also was going. Like, is that a trauma response to something? But if it's just because you share, then that's just,
you know what, I'll
being
take it as an example. I went to this med spa opening, right? And the owner's husband, who lives in our neighborhood, I know, he came up and was like, hey, how's it going? Like, and we were talking about having a tag on social media, like as part of like a bingo game. And I was like, yeah, I tagged you guys on my Shepack account. He's like, what's that? I went into the whole thing about a podcast. Then I went into how Airbnb is how I also work in corporate. Like he literally knew my whole life story about everything before this man walked away from our table. And I'm pretty sure he was like, okay.
There's also networking motivation behind that. Like you are an entrepreneur, you are a promoter of all the things. And so that I feel like is sharing for sure, right? But like there's motivation to share those things too. Like it was a networking event and girl, you were networking.
Yeah. And even with Deanna, we like tagged you in. They were like, what's your podcast? And we were all like, and Nichole.
Yeah. It's like, let me tell you the tagline. I tell all the people. But my point is, even when I'm not, before I had all this stuff, I don't do the like, how's the weather? It's like, you'll just know exactly how my stomach's even feeling that day.
No filter.
There's no filter, and it's straight like all the things.
Mm-hmm.
All the things.
Now, are we all in relationships with our opposite? Like Beto is definitely an extrovert.
No.
You guys are both in relationships with the opposite,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Ashley
We
and
are not.
I
Both
don't
introverts,
think
you think?
so.
Yeah, Bob's definitely more introverted. He does like doing things out, peopling sometimes, but yeah, his preference is being introverted. Unless peopling with me counts as being extroverted.
I don't think with
I
your
don't
partner
think
counts.
so either.
In my brain.
Yeah, he's like lovingly obsessed with me. So like last night, after being out with Calvin all night, and I told him, like, there was like 50 million people at the mall, like all the ambient noise, all the lights, all the smells of the food court, all of the thing. Like, I need a minute. And that was probably more sensory for me too. But I'm like, I need you to be in a different room. I need to just like put on comfy pajamas. Don't talk to me. Leave me alone. And he was really like upset about that for a minute. I'm like, it's not you. Any human would be pissing me off right now. Go away. I love you. Like,
I feel like my husband's the same way though.
Yeah.
I've had to have talks with Beto about that, and now he understands. Like, I don't know. He picks up on it quicker now, and he's like, all right, kids, let's all go outside so mommy can have like 20 minutes.
Mhm.
Thank
It
you.
makes me think of
Almost like a quiet bath. Like I'm not actually taking a bath, but like bathing in the quiet of that.
Yeah,
Did you go
it
sit in your
feels
tub while-
very-
My child did that today here. He was
Yeah.
feeling overloaded by the sounds, and he was like sat in the guest room.
Yeah.
full of linens.
He sat on the floor, like literally looked like he was meditating.
Good on him.
It was fascinating.
That's
Yeah.
so interesting.
It's amazing that he knows that he needs that, first of all,
Mhm.
and that he can ask for that. And he does it. That's fantastic.
I'm married to an introvert whose COVID was literally his favorite thing that ever
Mhm.
happened. The man is
Really?
ready.
Even with everybody in the house with him?
Yeah,
Being
because
home
Yeah, that-
during the COVID time was his favorite thing.
But I think Steve likes having his people,
Yeah.
his core people. Like Bob likes
Mhm.
that too.
Yeah.
If we're around, loves it. If we're gone, he's like, what do I do? I need my people. Other people, get out of my house.
same. But it's like all the birthday parties got canceled. All like I literally drag us to everything.
Mhm.
So like I have started giving him a choice about like coming to things or not coming to things because the man is like, you have planned too many things and I can't do all the things.
But you still go, which is nice.
I
Not
still go.
limited by his preferences.
No, I mean, it's his choice how he wants to live his life. He wants to, like, I just think about it always as like, if I died tomorrow,
Mm-hmm.
how did I live my last day? Like, was it alone? Like, doing
Talk
nothing?
about intrusive thoughts, man. That's your version of
It's funny
intrusive
that
thought.
When you started that sentence, my brain went to, who's going to take the kids to the birthday parties? I will.
We are.
Cole's gonna take them.
We are.
Yeah.
Actually, I really hate birthday parties, so maybe Tania
So,
can.
yes.
The birthday,
Yeah, Bob takes
I will
the
say
kids
the
to birthday
birthday
parties.
parties are one of the things that I duck out. I tap Landon
Oh
in.
my God, I
say,
love that.
I say, you boys are going to Target and to get the birthday party, the present, and enjoy and tell me how it was.
Mm.
Oh my God, I love them so
No.
much.
For a while, I was just saying no to all of them until I realized that really upset my kids. They
Mhm.
they thought they weren't invited, and I was like, oh no, you weren't. We just can't make it. And they were like, why? It's like, oh, okay. So it's hard, both of them, but especially Luna, like wants to go to everyone's party.
Luna wants to go to all the parties.
Yeah, Luna wants to go to all the parties, and she definitely has a different personality type than mine, and it's a bit of a challenge because I have to like work myself up to do it and take her. And sometimes I have a great time, and I like want to know people better, but it's like when I don't know the people as well yet, I really struggle. Or if I know it's going to be a very large group or like a setting I'm not super familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
Luna's a Pisces like me.
She is.
Luna and I are spirit animals or spirit fishes.
Okay. Would you like to take her to the birthday party?
I would. I love kids' birthday parties, y'all. Like, I don't know. This
I'm
is
not
like,
kidding. I would pay you.
weird, but
It's a
I
service you can provide.
love kids' birthdays parties. Like, I love the cupcakes and like the snacks and the like talking to
This
the.
is not something I knew about you.
I love the birthday parties. When we go to the jumping birthday parties, Steve and I pay for ourselves so that we can also
Yeah, that's fun.
participate in the activity.
Is that
Like,
because Steve wants to, or because he's thinking about they could get hurt? So he should.
you know what? I don't know what his motivation is, but like I'm there to jump or like do the thing. Like I want to be in the thing. So I do. I really enjoy kids' birthday parties. I think they're fun. And I get super energized by them. And I sign us up for all the birthday parties to the point where Steve's like, I'm not going. And I had to sign him up. I've signed him up accidentally to birthday parties that I was not available for, that he's had to take the kids to.
I've tried to delegate, and I'll never forget there was a day that both kids had a party to go to.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought about it really hard, and I went to the one at the museum with Cruz because he was older. I was like, this will be easier. And it's a place I've been to before. This is a bad life choice.
Yep.
They were bringing out snakes, and children were touching the snakes. There was tarantulas. There was
That's fun. I'll do those.
There was a lot of animals and germs and male boy energy. And my time at the same time, Cruz is at a 3-year-old birthday party with Luna where they had a fucking unicorn. And I was like, how is this fair? I didn't know that the unicorn was on the menu.
Beto went to a unicorn party.
He did, and he was rubbing it in.
Well,
He was like taking pictures, and look, there's only 5 girls, and there's a unicorn.
only 5 girls.
Meanwhile, you're like
25
dudes deep.
dudes. Yeah.
Ugh.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. No. Yeah.
We took Ryan to a birthday party at a bowling alley, and you talk about sensory overload too. There, I was
Rashes of the pins.
and the music on top of it, and the kids screaming, and then the kids roughhousing because now they're at this age where the boys are roughhousing, and I have a single kid at home. There's no roughhousing that I am accustomed to on a daily basis. So it was.
I don't feel
I
like
remember
Ryan's
that one being
accustomed
a
to
lot.
it either. When he sees my boys' roughhouse, he's like, "What are they doing?
Yeah.
Why are they? They're touching each other." yeah, they are.
My rule follower.
He is such a rule follower. But my oldest I would categorize him as introverted,
Yeah.
and so he does not like that I make him do all the things either. He will choose when push comes to shove to stay with Steve versus now go with me to the things or do the things.
But he's finding different ways to engage. So that's what I'm noticing with my kiddo too, is he would choose to stay home and play video games all day, but he is also choosing to then be on Messenger Kids talking with his friends while they play. So there's this social element that's happening at the same time versus a true just complete withdrawal, I need to be alone. Please stop talking to me kind of thing. And so I'm still trying to figure him out.
Yeah.
But maybe he's more along my lines, right? He's an extrovert who needs the quiet times to recenter, but generally speaking, he needs a little encouragement. But like I said, when he has a buddy, when he has friends that he knows there, he'll go. But he has some anxiety that feeds into his apprehension of going to new things sometimes. And then my husband, I don't know. I'm very curious. And now I'm questioning all of my ability to assess what this is. But now I'm trying to figure out my husband too.
I mean, I think Nichole said earlier, some of it is how do you recharge?
Yeah.
That to me is really key in which half of the spectrum.
And where do you get energy?
Yeah.
He might be an extroverted introvert.
Where he
We need to find a test
where he
for this.
recharges.
I wonder if there's a
internally
middle
and,
too, an ambivert and omnivert.
But he is definitely
word I've definitely
quieter. He's quieter than I am. I am the chatty one of the two of us for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But he can go to a crowded concert. He can go to a crowded festival and be totally fine. Whereas I am too many people, too much
drained?
noise.
more sensory and noise.
That might be the sensory piece for me.
So when it comes to planning something, if you plan something, would he rather stay home or would he rather go with you?
he'll go.
So I feel like he's extroverted then. If he would go with the thing versus my husband literally is begging me,
Yeah.
not to attend whatever the event today is.
Yeah, I think he's just quieter. So maybe that's what I'm trying to
reserved.
figure out where that falls on the spectrum.
Yeah, I feel like when you guys vacation, you're marathon. We did this and then this period
We
and
do
that
lots.
and that. Yeah, my idea of a good
We
vacation is
adventure.
I would like to sit on the beach in the shade, not by the sand, but I see the water and read a book in silence. And Beto wants to do the scuba diving and the dancing and the this and go see this brew. And it's nonstop.
Okay.
And he gets so much energy from that. And Cruz is the opposite, right? He'll have a weekend, he'll be ugh, I did too much. He really wants Sunday to just recharge before he has to people again. I think Luna could go on forever to anything.
Well, it's interesting because when you're thinking about it, I've had, when we vacation together, I have to reconfigure my expectations of what.
I like that word.
Reconfigure.
Reconfigure.
My expectations of how many activities we are going to do in that trip, right?
I mean,
Yeah, I think
we,
that's a
these girls,
valuable.
or we, you and your family.
Well, both. My poor husband, he doesn't really get much credit. But like both, like because you guys are also introverted, like I know it takes a lot to stack a lot of activities into
That's
an
true.
event.
When we travel together, sometimes it's like a busy morning, early afternoon, and then we're chilling for the rest of the day.
We build in time.
Yeah, or it's like an every other day kind of thing. We do balance that pretty
Versus
well.
I'll never forget the first Disney trip I planned. We had a park every single day, all day.
Steve probably wanted to kill you.
He, leading up to the weeks of it, he was like, do you think we should build a break day in? No, we don't need a break day. We're only there for like 5 days. We've got to hit all the parks.
5 days is 3 busy days and 2 break days to me.
And he's like,
Poor Steve.
I literally had us from sun up to sundown, even with like nighttime activities. Like we'd get home and then go to like the medieval dinner or like there was like all of the things. And I'll never forget after that vacation, he's like, we cannot ever do that again. Like you have to
Well, I think the communication piece is important, right? Like in terms of how do you make it work, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's friend groups or whether it's your partnership or whatever it might be, like it's important to be able to, first of all, kind of know where you fall on that spectrum and then to kind of communicate that to the people around you so that hopefully they're receptive to that and start to take it into account. Like it's nice for me to know that you guys enjoy the fact that we fill the silence versus like, will they ever shut up? Right.
Yeah.
No,
so that's
never
good.
like that.
That's really helpful to know. And then when we travel together, we consciously like put in the break days, but like Nichole and I would lose our minds if we literally went for a 1 week trip and then just sat.
To be clear, I would also not like that. Like I like doing things and I like doing things with you because I feel like you're my people.
Okay.
But it's like having to people with other people
fair.
I don't know is where I find it very draining. But I don't necessarily find it
Well, I also
draining
have
with you
to
guys.
remember to stock up my book choices ahead of time if I'm going on vacation with y'all because there's going to be a lot of like quiet downtime.
I do like to read.
So I have to like stock up. Like I am mentally preparing
speed read like a
myself.
demon too.
I know.
So
But I like stock up and mentally prepare myself to like download enough books to like fill the like quiet time that we're going to have.
But even right now, and I say this with so much love, like my mother-in-law is there staying with us for a month and I enjoy her being there. She's really very helpful. The kids love her. But even in my own house, like if my kids aren't going to bed at a normal time, like I literally can't even like chill out. And she's fine. She takes care of herself. She's watching a show like in her room. She's happy. It's not that she needs anything from me, but I don't even fully relax.
it's just the presence of
Like, so sometimes I just need to be alone. And it's even when it's my like most loved family members that I
totally
just
agree.
need like an alone moment. And I'll do it on vacation sometimes. I'll be like, I just need to, you need someone to go to the grocery store? I'm it. And it's not because I I don't love grocery shopping.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I get a car ride by myself. Sign me up. Well, I can recharge.
I think about it the other day. We were talking about, you're like, do you need time? I had to go drive somewhere separately from you guys. And you're like, do you need time alone? And I was like, well,
That's right. I did ask that.
no. But like,
for me, that would be like, oh, we've had a long time together. That would
so
be
like I did end up going, but I called my mom on the way. And I like talked to my mom the whole time because I was like, who am I going to talk to?
I just thought you were going to be listening to another smutty book.
No, but I just like called my mom and I was like, all right, I'll just talk to my mom on the way or whatever.
That was
Like,
so thoughtful of you, Ashley,
it
to like
was.
just respect, what you might need and like name
Because I wouldn't have thought that.
Yeah. And now in hindsight, like, of course you don't want that.
But if you would have asked me, I would have been like, yes, set me free.
Well, and I was like,
I
also,
wouldn't even ask. I'd just be like, yeah, go. Like,
I was also just like, well, maybe she doesn't want me to chat with her. So like, maybe she needs quiet time and she just wants to sit here quietly. So like, okay, I'll go. I'll just talk to my mom. I'll just call my mom on the way. Because I was like 35 minutes
Could
driving.
have just called me and we would be talking in the car with the two of them, just being quiet, zoning out.
It's so true, though.
But that's why we end up rooming the way we do, right? Tania and I together and like you guys together because
I mean, we're up late, but we're not talking to each other.
Not at all.
I know.
Like, literally not.
No.
Tania and I will chat. Like, we'll be like,
I feel like there are times where you're even like, Tania, stop talking.
well, it's like when I'm really listening to a book or something at that point, when I'm like, when I've decided I need to like,
Or your morning coffee chit chat and stuff too.
Yeah.
Like you guys check in with each other in the morning when you're waking up and
We really do.
I'm super chatty in the morning. Steve hates it.
Sounds awful.
Like I get up and I'm like, and And he's like, why are you talking to me?
Yeah. Landon might relate to that.
I'm like,
too.
because I had coffee 3 hours ago and
You're
you
finally
are just now awake. Like, I had my alone time. I had my decompressing time. Like, I need you to wake up.
Landon
now.
gets mobbed. Like, he comes downstairs, the dog mobs him, and then Ryan is immediately like, you ready to play video games? And then I'm like, hey, how about this thing on the calendar and all the things? The poor man is just like, dear God.
Yeah, that I struggle with.
I
that
don't
too.
have coffee yet. I don't have breakfast yet.
Just it's like overwhelming all at once, and all this just like noise and faces and things and demands. The demand avoidance really kicks in for me, and I'm like, no, I'm not doing that.
Oh, yeah. I think it's also different because our brains work very differently too.
Yeah.
So like when I think about it, I was like, maybe it's just like the way our brains work that make us introvert, extrovert.
I do think some of it for me is just the way my brain is wired and those like preferences that I have and my like just natural limitations. I tend to lean more introverted for that reason, I think.
So
just all I'm capable
interesting.
of.
Well, I think that we are proof that you can have the combination, right? Like you can have mixed friend groups. And I think sometimes it can be to our advantage if you learn how to like communicate about it and to be clear about it so that everyone has their needs met, right? And that can be in partnerships too.
Yeah. We'd love to hear from our listeners. Do you guys identify as introverts, extroverts, something in between? What kind of folks are you usually dealing with? Is that good or bad? Tell us all about how you feel on all of the socials at Shepack Unleashed.
Thank you for being a part of our pack.
This is Ashley, Jenny, Nichole, and Tania signing off. Stay wild and fierce.
Time out. Evan! Evan! Are you on the phone?
Do it without it being
And
mentioned.
the pillow in the lap, too.
Well, yeah, because I was then.
I was going to talk about your modesty pillow, but
Well, she was like, your vagina's out, and I was like,
It's not, time out. I did not say your vagina was out.
Even if it was, I support
said
that.
It was.
But now I put the thought in your head. And
No, and now I'm like, well, I can't have a vagina out on camera. And now I'm hot as hell, sweating with the pillow on me. Hi.